Happy but hard as Prince William and Kate Middleton face glaring bulbs and inquiries. First, look at Princess Diana's ring. Princess Diana died years ago, yet her influence remains throughout the royal family. Recently, palace residents are discussing her again. One of her belongings was found a few days ago. Princess Catherine wept when she discovered it. It was more than nostalgia. The finding shocked palace staff and royal watchers. What did Diana leave? Why does it still have power? Come discover the story that unites past and present forever. Secret for Charlotte. Princess Catherine examined Princess Diana's possessions to heal. She wanted something easy to ground herself. Catherine found jewelry in a velvet box. The sealed envelope was addressed to Diana's future granddaughter and marked in her handwriting. Diana wrote of the pressures of royal life, her aspirations for change, and her longing for her granddaughter to grow beyond the title. Catherine was moved by the message. Residents of the palace say she changed then. In the household, her role and values felt different. The royal officials thought the brooch was burned or stolen years earlier. They believed it was lost forever. It was hidden in Diana's belongings. Experts claimed the brooch's value exceeded its substance. It represented actual power. It was perhaps a family heirloom that needed to be passed down. Everyone wants to know who hid the brooch and why for so long. Behind-the-scenes sources say Catherine and Queen Camilla are unhappy and that this finding could deepen their problems. This event is more than just uncovering old royal jewelry. It's about ladies sharing their experiences with royal life, loss, and striving to improve things for future generations. But what accompanied the brooch made this realization much stronger. Could a tiny thing inform the monarchy's future? Brooch meant everything. Actually, the brooch was never lost. Someone had hidden it. People couldn't stop raving about how spectacular it appeared when it returned. Central deep blue sapphire surrounded by old-school diamonds. Lady Cynthia Spencer, Diana's grandmother, owned it. Diana wore flashier clothes in public, but not this. It signified something different. While her personal life was going apart and the media wouldn't leave her alone, she turned that sapphire into something special. A folded card was beside the brooch. Nothing flashy. It was ancient and beat up. And signed and undated, the message was plain. Catherine knew it was for Charlotte after reading it. But this isn't simply about passing down expensive stuff. This is about far more than royal formality or following centuries-old traditions. Diana's message to her family's future women was clear. Everyone deserves to choose their life. They need people who adore them as they are. When anything matters, people should stand firm. Catherine felt changed after reading the letter. Friends claimed she took a moment alone with Diana's comments and it impacted her differently. It was more than emotional. It jolted me awake. This was not about royal duties or looks. It was about future priorities. She saw things differently after that. Such an impact is not limited to one person. Occasionally, I read that. People are willing to tell me. It remains, builds, and influences future choices. So now they wonder what happens. When does that lucidity reach the following generation? What does it indicate for Princess Catherine's future choices? Diana's legacy burns. Diana's influence on the royal family never faded, but Kate has been reinterpreting it. Kate is more subdued than Diana, who was all about making waves. However, insiders claim Diana's fingerprints are all over Kate's operations. It's not about imitating Diana's clothing or iconic moments. Bigger than that, Kate seems to have inherited Diana's notion that royals can't merely go through the motions without remembering they're humans behind all the laws and obligations. Kate friends say reading the letter was a switch flip. She stopped doing the routine because it was always done. She understood she wasn't just a royal employee for the first time in years. She was carrying on something more substantial, something like being a real person in a tough profession, without ceremonies or public appearances. Kate began to comprehend her purpose then. Kate then began composing her letter. This for Charlotte. She won't release or read it at a ceremony. She was being honest about living in this bizarre royal fishbowl where everyone is watching your every move and you can barely breathe without being analyzed. Kate also wrote about Diana's topics. What love looks like under a microscope, how lonely it can be even while surrounded, and how to keep going when everything seems impossible. Charlotte will receive both letters and Diana's brooch at 18. Think about it. 3 women from different decades discussing the same tough task. They shared a title but lived very different lifestyles. This has made Kate feel closer to Diana, but it's also making palace staff uncomfortable. Some perceive Kate questioning how things work, talking about things they'd prefer forget. Kate seemed to have decided. She's not attempting to remove Diana's values or sanitize them to make everyone happy. PR campaigns and public events shouldn't perpetuate Diana's legacy. It should matter in life-changing decisions. Subsurface tension exists. Some palace staff are uncomfortable about Catherine's expanding public involvement, notably through Diana emblems. Is Camilla under pressure from people's loyalty to Catherine, which resembles their affection for Diana? Camilla was more affected by the next queen than the media coverage or emotional reactions. It was monitoring reactions. They didn't support her. People grieved Diana again. Camilla felt as if someone who had been gone for decades was pushing her back again, according to a palace source. She was finally wearing the crown she had yearned for, but the world still saw her as an outsider. Camilla quickly became frustrated and took action. She reportedly had people go through every Diana item in the royal vaults to prevent more surprises and make Kate appear nice. Not simply the poor headlines made her crew apprehensive. They worried about Kate. One remarked what everyone was thinking, that she was too popular and loved like Diana. Kate did not try, which is fantastic. She needed no speeches or master plan. Just being herself, wearing Diana's jewels, and loving her kids was enough to get people's attention. Diana and Camilla could not be more different, but history binds them. Due to her authenticity, Diana, a young woman, was adored for her feelings. She hugged AIDS patients while everyone else was terrified to be in the same room or walk across minefields to demonstrate their peril. She hurled the royal rulebook out the window when it prevented her from assisting people. How she spoke to the media and shared her problems. It transformed royalty's image. Ultimately, it wasn't hard to decide. Just what I desired. I wanted. Camilla is complete opposite. When she was Charles's wife, she was old-fashioned, kept her mouth shut, and followed the rules. Now that she's queen, people compare her to Diana daily. Honestly, no one will win that comparison. Camilla spent years recovering from Diana's legacy. She kept her head down and worked without fuss. Diana showed her emotions and connected with people, while I'd been attempting to hide my three-quarter-century milestone. Camilla supported literacy programs and charity without making headlines. Camilla maintained stability by avoiding the spotlight, which worked for a time. Now that Catherine is reviving Diana's legacy, people are questioning if the royal family can carry both legacies without breaking down. A new chapter begins. George, Charlotte, and Louis, the youngest royals, are now the focus. These kids are living in a different world than their parents or grandparents. Everything's online. Royals are expected to be far more transparent. But they must also deal with outdated school traditions. How William and Kate raised them is a delicate balance. Kids still face formalities and learn their future jobs. But their parents also let them be kids with personality. In the past, royals rarely did it. The script was followed, and that was all. William and Kate clearly learned from their generation. Royal life is their goal for their children. They also want kids to know themselves outside of that. Charlotte feels strange pressure that boys don't. With all this news about Diana's brooch and that letter she wrote, which they're supposed to give Charlotte, people are acting like she'll be a link between the old royal line and whoever comes after. Although Charlotte is only a child, everyone is already selecting her role. That's a lot to ask. Who won't grasp this for years? Maybe that's the point. Once she's old enough to make her own decisions, these voices will inform her it's all right to be herself instead of what others expect. George, who follows his father, is learning all about the royal family, but his parents are attempting not to overload him. When they reveal him, William and Kate are strategic, showing people you can be regal without a staged childhood. Since Louis is young, none of this impacts him. He's this child that makes faces at cameras and acts up during ceremonies, which people adore because it normalizes the family. He can be silly and carefree as his elder siblings figure out their lives. When people see the three of them together, they see what the royal family could become, still doing their job but not letting it define them. That's working now, but who knows if it will last. Why Charlotte is so popular is obvious. She has rare confidence for a child her age, especially one who's always photographed. At public gatherings, she doesn't hide behind her parents or act overwhelmed. She waves at people, handles formal settings without breaking apart, and seems fine with photographers. Her personality shines through even in her super-controlled royal appearances. Some believe she is Kate's composure, but also Diana's attention-grabbing flair. Charlotte seems unafraid of being royal or unsure of her duties. People love Charlotte's normality despite her royal status. Her parents allow her to quarrel with her brothers, be funny, and boss George and Louis around like any big sister. People like her since she's well-behaved when needed but playful. She is just a palace-raised child. Charlotte's lighthearted, down-to-earth nature shows how the next generation may manage and authentically handle royal life. How will this future vary from Meghan, Harry, and Williams if Catherine crafts it at home? Different routes, same crown. Kate and Meghan come into the royal family from distinct backgrounds, and their behavior shows it. She had almost 10 years to realize what she was getting into with William. She watched, learned the rules, and eased in. Perhaps that's why she seems content with convention and never breaks it. Before marrying Harry, Meghan was a popular actress with a platform and opinions. She was ready to speak up after a short adjustment period. She quickly disagreed with royal protocol. Like their wives, William and Harry handle royal life differently. William knew he will rule one day. He's built his life on that. He stays quiet when things become messy, sticks to the plan, and doesn't disturb the institution. He prioritizes long-term strategy. Harry went the other way, losing his mother and facing years of press harassment. It certainly ruined him. Harry, unlike William, blew everything up instead of coping. After talking about family issues, he relocated to California and forgot about the royals. The brothers experienced the same childhood trauma, but addressed it differently. William immersed himself in the royal system, whereas Harry avoided it. Although neither approach is bad, they can't coexist in the same household without severe issues. William and Catherine mark continuity. They rarely air personal issues and focus on royal duties like mental health, early childhood development, and environmental awareness. They project stability and dependability. Meghan and Harry disrupt. They personally advocate for racial fairness, media harassment, and mental wellness. They often discuss their problems behind royal gates. These four offer two distinct views of royal life today. Tradition keeps one side in the system. The other challenges that system's operation. While perspectives vary, both highlight how the royal family is changing. Can Princess Diana's legacy guide the royal family after all these years? Is Princess Charlotte becoming the new monarchy face? Tell us in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video you'll like.